and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Arnold Time HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
Hello?
Hey, Mommy. Hey, baby. Baby, all right.
Merry friggin' Christmas, guys. It is Black Christmas. 50th anniversary, by the way, because it was released in 1974. I did not know. This was not intentional, by the way. I didn't know that it was exactly 50 years ago, but how convenient for me. This film is a classic, a cult classic, directed by Bob Clark. Now, if you know who that is, he directed A Christmas Story, which is very ironic that he made two Christmas classics that could not be any different from each other. But also, this movie is starring Olivia Hussey, Margot Kidder, and John Saxon, who was a cop in this movie, who you might know that plays other cops in a lot of other movies, because I guess he just looks like a cop, which he does, I guess, so they got that right. And this film was a big inspiration, one of the first slasher films credited as one of the most influential slashers, because it not only was one of the first slashers of its type, it also inspired John Carpenter's Halloween, which I'm certain you've heard of. And honestly, this film is just really good. Honestly, really ahead of its time, too, and you could tell it was ahead of its time, because critics did not like it when it came out. Critics did not like it. Of course, they were shitting on it, saying, oh, it's like senseless, it has no reason to exist, the violence is too violent, but it's like, it's funny when you look back, it's not that violent, like, at all. Like, compared to movies nowadays, this film is not that bad, like, in violence. I'd say it's more suspenseful. I don't even know what they're talking about, senseless violence. The violence seemed pretty, like, normal to me for a horror movie. For a horror movie, you know what I mean. But I am saying that I really, really enjoyed this movie on the fact that, like, it relied on atmosphere. You guys know I'm an atmosphere guy. I love atmosphere. I am always, take a shot for every time I say atmosphere. I am a sucker. I'm a slave for atmosphere over cheap scares. I like when it gets in your head, I like when it, like, fucks with you in a way. That's why I like psychological horror so much. But this film wasn't really psychological, but it did get in your head because it was very suspenseful. It was very full of tension, right? Because there was barely any, like, loud noises or all. There weren't jump scares, obviously, being a film from 1974. But, like, one thing I really liked about it is you didn't see the killer at all. You saw his eye and, his silhouette sometimes, but you didn't really, like, get a good look at him, and I like that, because at the end of the film, spoilers, by the way, for a 50-year-old film, but at the end of the film, it's crazy, because it just reveals he's just some guy. He's just some mentally unwell, like, psychotic killer that has no connection to the main characters whatsoever. His name's Billy. He says, "This is Billy," and then he rants about somebody named Agnes, because he's psychotic and he just rambles a lot. But I like that. I like how the killer is just some dude. Some crazy dude. I like that. Because, like, it also is creepy because, like, he could have done this to anybody and he just chose these people pretty much out of random. He just randomly chose them. So, like, this movie kind of makes it scary because this could happen to anybody with a big house. Some psychotic murderer could sneak up into your attic, murder your friends, get you to kill one of your friends, and then kill you. Right? Like, I like that. Like, it wasn't personal. He literally just did it because he felt like it. You know what I mean? I like that. Sometimes a good slasher can just be a psychotic murderer that has basically no motivation. He just feels like doing it, or they just feel like doing it. I like that. And I don't know, just like how quiet the film was. You know, being quiet with like because one thing I can't stand either in like modern horror films is how loud music is, or how, like, the sound effects and stuff. You don't need that. I think something that builds more tension in a scene is quiet. And I don't mean like quiet and then boom, scary jump scare. No, I mean like a scene filled with tension that is just filled with tension, and it's quiet. And it being quiet makes you anticipate something, but you shouldn't pay it off with a jump scare. You should pay it off with an actual scary thing, right? Like, I think sometimes, like, a silhouette in the dark, just like standing there, is scarier than a loud noise. Because then if it's silent and it's just the silhouette standing there, it gets scarier. You know what I mean? It's not hard to understand. I just think that this film did it really well, and I really liked its approach, which I think is funnier, because they say, oh, it has no reason to exist. Sometimes, not all movies need a deep meaning to be good. Some of them can just be made for entertainment. And this movie is entertaining, right? That's what I'm trying to get at here. This movie was scary. Well, I wouldn't say like it really scared me, but it had good moments. It had good tension, had good thrills. Honestly, this film was just entertaining and a great, great horror movie. And a Christmas horror movie, I think it's one of the best I've seen. Because most of the Christmas horror movies I've seen either don't take themselves seriously at all, or they're more goofy in nature. You know what I mean? Like fucking Jack Frost. You cannot take that movie seriously whatsoever. But this movie is like a horror movie that just happens to be during Christmas. I don't know if that's a gripe or not, but I'm just going to say I feel like this movie could have taken place at any time of the year, and it could have been the same movie, pretty much. Like, this could have been Black Easter or something, and it would have been the same thing. But, obviously, the Christmas aesthetic, like with the snow and the lights, is a nice atmosphere for the film. Said that damn word again. But, with all that being said, I just really, really enjoyed this film. I really enjoyed it because, again, as I said, the tropes that were in it, that we weren't tropes at the time, but I just really think this film is so good at what it does. And honestly, I'm glad that it gets the appreciation that it gets now that it didn't get before. I mean, it never got any sequels, unfortunately, even though they, at the end of the movie, they kind of set it up so there could be a sequel. I mean, the killer is still in the attic. He's still making the calls, you know, and he's probably gonna keep killing people, right? So it's like, they could make a sequel to this movie. Obviously, they can't now, but back then they could have. But instead, in 2006, they made a loose remake, which basically means it's called Black Christmas, but it's not actually Black Christmas. And then they made another remake in 2019, which is also probably the same thing. It's called Black Christmas, but it's not actually Black Christmas. We're just taking the name of it and the idea of, oh, there's a killer at Christmas time, and there's sorority girls, and that's the entire, like, connection to Black Christmas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe those are going to be the only connections between the remakes if I ever watch them. I don't know, maybe tell me I'm wrong. So, but here's the thing. Have you guys seen the remakes? Are they worth my time? Are they any good? Leave it down in the comments. Tell me, should I watch the 2006 or the 2019, or both of them? Should I watch those remakes? Let me know. Please. But, with that being said, would I recommend this film? Absolutely. If you're a horror fan, if you're looking to get into the festive cheer, this film is absolutely for you. And honestly, if you're just looking to watch a good old-fashioned 70s slasher film, I think that this film just scratches an itch that I've had for a long time to watch a good old-fashioned horror film. Love 70s horror, and this one just gets it right. With the terrible haircuts and all. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend. Peter in this film has an awful haircut. You may have been innocent, Peter, but your haircut wasn't. But I have risen from the dead to give the living haircuts. But anyway, this film I would recommend. And with that being said, I think I'd give this film a rating of an 8 out of 10. Very much would recommend it. Very festive. Very much enjoyed it. Merry friggin' Christmas. And, yeah, I think I've said my piece. I think I've said what I need to say. So, guys, I hope you liked this video. Share with friends. Subscribe to notifications on. Comment below once you liked it. And I've been Ron of Tim HD. Off to the attic. Ho ho ho. Black Santa with the... Oh, no, that came out wrong. I meant, like, the black outlines on the hat. I don't mean... Cut that out.